They need an hero, some brass academe to codify a snake in clocks and cast her in an awesome bust of bronze. Then I might die, alone and spare.
Merci. Crazy loneliness hijacks memory of a beautiful girl. Crazy loneliness hijacks memory of a beautiful girl. Last night, I missed you so much, I made love to your nightdress passionately. Now your nightdress hides from me, slinks under covers and pillows, avoids my eyes. I cannot take another night without you. Your nightie cannot take another night with me. I am holding your dresses hostage, threatening them with kisses, caresses if they make one false move. Your other clothes tremble in the wardrobe. Come back to me.
Yay! Encore!
A stitch in time. A stitch, 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 stitch. A stitch, 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 stitch. Doing time, just killing time. Doing time, just killing time. A stitch, 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 stitch. A stitch, 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 stitch. Just a second, just a mo. Just a second, just a mo. Just. Doing time, just killing time. Doing time, just killing time. A stitch, 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 stitch. Just now, just then, just when. Doing time, killing time. Midnight, midday, midlife, killing time, just killing time. A stitch, 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 stitch. Just in time. It's just in time. Right on, right off, right on, right off. Time, 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 time.
You haven't.
Stand still. A stitch, 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 time, stitch, time, stitch, time, line, time, line, time, line. Stops for, runs out, runs for, jumps to, jumps a beat. A stitch, 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 stitch. Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever. Time enough. Always, no way, always, long days, midnight, midday, now, 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 now. Doing time, just doing time. Killing time, just killing time. Up, always, never, ever time. Up, always, never, ever time. Enough. Enough. Up, always, never, ever time. Enough. Up, always, never, ever time. Enough. Doing time, just killing time. Doing time, just killing time. 1 and 2 and always, always, never, ever time. 3 and 4 and always, always, never, ever time. 5 and 6 and rolling. Doing time, just killing time. Doing time, just killing time. Time's up, time's out, time's up, time's out, time's up, time's out. A stitch. In time. Saves. None.
Clothes have no memory. Your most prized dress must confess that it cannot remember the swell of your breast, the rise and fall of your breeding. Clothes have no memory. It is winter now and your summer frock has totally forgot the sheer sudden shockingness of being underneath it all, absolutely Nicholas. Kisses like butterflies alighting high, high on your inner thigh, thigh. Don't even go there, John. Clothes have no memory. Your bra, unhooked, unhinged, cannot really recall the thrill of it all as my hands with each caress create your breasts. Clothes have no memory. Clothes have no memory, but I do.
Ernie, the best pod carrier in the East End, Dad reckoned him, a fierce worker, sat on the sofa at Dad's wake. His grey hair tied back in a ponytail, chest forced in an ill-fitting grey suit, sucking on a roll-up next to Bessie, whose legs were bandaged after surgery, his wife of 50 years. They called him the Duke. I never knew why. This wiry man who lived upstairs when I was a kid, Dad's brother-in-law, staring at something in front of him, probably death. He said little, as Bessie growled platitudes through her faggy phlegm about her Billy. The Duke had lifted bricks to build 1,000 homes, the very bricks Dad had cold, sifted and sold on. What a life, eh? He said to me as I poured him another pint. Still, he called out to Mum. What a life, eh? What a life! And at that moment, his head leant back. He looked every bit the Duke.
This is a delightful little ditty called Autopsy. You made the opening incision with almost clinical precision. Took the heart out, found it wanting. Took the top off the head, removed the mind. What exactly was it you expected to find? I looked at you with sad eyes that said, it wouldn't have hurt half as much if you'd only waited till I was dead.
You're dead. I buried you. So why do you stare at me from the mirror behind the bar? I said, give me my keys back and I'll give you yours back. That was it. I'll give them back.
When they made you, they broke the mould. I sit and gaze, amazed, as you create a rubber mould of your vulva. You ask me what I think. I blink and grin. It's something else, but what's it for? It's for you, because I love all the things that you do to it. I smiled, well, all right. For years, your masterpiece held pride of place above our mantelpiece, created heated debate over how much was too much, or how far was too far, or, as Wendy said, people... Gordon, you're shaking your head.
Because my hat fell off.
Oh. People were often offended, but you, being you, as was your wont, proudly declared, I am not ashamed of my cunt. Years later, we broke up, and it found itself in an attic, neatly packaged and covered with dried wild flowers. I wrote and asked if you wanted your vulva back. You wrote back and said, in big capital letters, oh yes, please. And so, like the Rosetta Stone, it was returned to its original owner with a little note attached that simply said, thank you for the gift of this and for loaning it to me for all these years. It was greatly loved and greatly missed, then sealed with love and a single kiss. Thank you. Can I ask the audience to keep it down, please?
Just tell the audience to get the audience under control.
No applause. I will now semaphore in the next poem. John.
I'm going to tell you a story. Elegy. Cast your clobber onto clay, old man. The city's reek has ruined them. The bargeman bides his time with beer, and kids down alleys kick tin cans. No rush, no rhyme, no reason rules you from Hoe Street to the river's run. There's no accounting to you. Subtraction is your simple sum. Naked, knotted, you must move on. Shove over for the next man's son. Cast your clobber onto clay, old man. The bargeman burps and drains his beer. The walk is wild and cold and weeping, the market's closed, men move away. The tailor clock turns to clock your trim and measures up your mannequin. The pubs are shut to passers-by, the doors are dark, it's dead inside, and buses roar round corners, missing stops, and rooks are roosting by the reservoir. Cast your clobber onto clay, old man. The bargeman has a burly hand. His breath is heavy, heaped with hops. A lodestone sinks, the water stinks. You've never known a sharper noon. Cast your clobber onto clay, old man.
Yes.
This is called Pink High Heel Shoes. I remember drinking pink champagne from your pink high heel shoes. I remember making love with you wearing only your pink high heel shoes. I remembered how your pink high heel shoes became candle holders, ashtrays, where you stashed your hash, deadly weapons in a row. And you asked me if I remember your pink high heel shoes. Do I? I do. Summer dress comes to rest upon the balcony, hung up on a thin wire hanger, an exotic bird. It cries for your body, weeps at being parted from you and your curves. A pool of tears collects at its hem, as longingly it dreams of the touch of your skin, asleep now in the sun. Later that evening, frightened by the approaching storm, it tries to escape the clamour of its hanger, almost flies off beyond the reach of my hands, run away to sea seeking for farther horizons. I calm it, tame its panic, fold it tenderly, carry it like a dreaming child, lay it to rest at the foot of the bed, where all night long it sleeps at your feet, awaiting your footsteps, the sunshine of being you again. Thank you. And I used to really love this dress. And as a guy, I thought, gorgeous dress, I love that dress. I had no idea of what wearing the dress entailed, that it had to be ironed and pleats. And the pleats were a bugger to iron and everything like that. But as a guy, I just saw a lovely dress, lovely woman. But I learned. This is called Man of Iron. My fingertips touch your dress, remembering the first time ever caressing your curves through it. Your body covered in its flowers, remembering undressing you, your dress gently resting, strewn gracefully across a chair, tame now in the moonlight. Once again, tenderly I take it, unfasten it, fingers touching its hem, and longingly, lovingly iron it.
What a man. No, he did it once. That commemorates it.
And Jan irons like this. I iron for 4 hours, I'll get every damn crease.
And now, to finish, as you should always finish when you're doing poetry readings, we're going to visit the shaman, or the sham man.
Or shed man. In Ireland we have a similar thing, only rocks, but they're shamrocks. Very fake rocks.
So, where am I from? The land of slated slums and junk-filled yards, zinc bathtubs, drab privet, and neighbours shouting out, I don't believe it. My old man, the man who downed these drums. Then low-rise flats of kip, drink and pawn, duck and dive and coppers' midnight raids. Now turf and tides, the beat of Galloway days, an orchard of stars from sunset to dawn. Or none of these. A tricky kind of bloke. My time spent on the whiz, chatting up fears. I live in dreams, then die. Me home is ears. A conman preacher who moves in smoke. Me talk turns heads, but no sod's got a clue about where I'm from or where I'm going to.
Okay, but no.
Oh, you're not going to do that one.
It's so hard to hide an erection in a kilt.
Oh my God.
It's so bleeding obvious as to just what it is. It's here because it's here because it's here.
Children here?
It's so hard to hide an erection in a kilt whilst attempting to be an upstanding member of society. And then there's that embarrassing interlude waiting for it to wilt. But that's neither here nor there. It's so hard to hide an erection in a kilt. Here, order. Shut up, Annie. It's so hard to hide an erection in a kilt. You think, is there no end to it? One doesn't have to advertise or name sign it. And it's impossible to deny it, to deny it. It's here because it's there and it ain't going nowhere. It's better to come clean, face up and be a man about it. Yes, it is hard to hide. Jim, you try it. An erection in the kilt. So I whipped it off and threw it, casually as could be, over my left shoulder. Your dress fell in the flow. There was more, but I thought it best to skip all the rude, crude, pornographic stuff. Suffice it to say, we let nothing get in our way, reducing the distance between us. You, one very happy Venus. I, one very happy penis. Now we need a